I just got done watching The Conjuring. I know I'm a little late to the party on this series of films. I haven't seen any of the connected Conjuring universe films. I guess you would call them maybe more the Warren universe films because they're based on the files of Lorraine and Ed Warren, the ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, whatever you want to call them. I have to admit, I was a little put off by actually seeing this film, even at all to begin with, being it was based on the Warrens' files. Um, the Warrens had investigated the Amityville haunting, and supposedly proclaimed that they felt like it was the real deal. And kind of, I don't know how much of their stuff is real, how much of it's been debunked. I really don't, I'm not an expert on that per se, but I always felt that being that the Amityville horror and the haunting has pretty much been debunked and set to the point where you realize that it's probably a good chance that most of what was put to paper and pen and film is fiction. Um, Without going into too much interest in the Amityville horror, which I'll review one day at some point in time. Um, that being said, it's hard not to say the Lutzes didn't make that up. Yes, some terrible stuff happened there in the past. However, I'm not, and I think the world is pretty much not anybody who's done any little investigating or digging into it, even just online, has been able to pretty much figure out that the Lutzes probably invented this to make money. Invented their story. Don't get me wrong, there was a story that was there, but I think their story of the haunting was probably a very finely crafted haunted house fiction. Probably the best haunted house fiction. But that being said, The Conjuring is based on the files of the people who investigated the Amityville horror, Lorraine and Ed Warren, and overall I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I thought it was very well done. Um, Nicely acted, and the actors were very top notch. Everybody played parts very well. Certainly can't complain about the acting. Can't complain about the writing. I often question how much of a film that's based on real events is actually real. Usually, when a film says it's based on real events, about 5 to 15% of it's real. Yes, there were people with these names. Yes, there was paranormal investigation, and the rest of it is usually just Hollywood magic. Don't get me wrong, not saying Hollywood magic is bad, and in this case, it's a very entertaining film. Very scary, very creepy, hits all the right notes, well paced. It's directed by James Wan. I believe that's how to pronounce his name. I could be wrong on that. It's the same gentleman who did the first Saw movie, and has a lot of creativity behind the Saw franchise. Um, so certainly the man knows how to direct a horror movie, and he knows all the right spots to hit the creepiness, the weirdness. Certainly, The Conjuring definitely provides all those in every respect. Certainly, I will want to see the other movies in the franchise. I know some of them are spin-offs, spin-outs, spin-offs, prequels. There's obviously more films in the franchise. There's one about, there's two films about the doll in the film Annabelle, which is very creepy. There is also a sequel to The Conjuring as well. And as I understand it, there is also a spin-off about a creepy demonic nun. So certainly, I definitely want to see all the other films in the franchise. This one was definitely well worth my time of sitting and watching. I enjoyed it completely. Um, just on a personal note, I think some of it probably feels kind of a retread. And don't get me wrong, it's not that it's a bad retread. It's just that a lot of these notes have been hit in a lot of movies already. Demonic possessions, things moving around the house, scary doors creeping and opening and closing, birds hitting houses and dying, dogs barking at things that aren't there, the scary something seen in a reflection. A lot of these notes have been hit in over and over again in movies. So you may feel a little bit in seeing it like you kind of, it's all been done before, I know I felt that way a little bit, but by the same token, I also felt that it was also a very a well done movie. There's movies that can hit the same notes over and over again, and sometimes it's done poorly. The Conjuring does not do that. It does those things. It hits those notes, and it hits them well. They're all very familiar notes, and I think everybody knows you're all expecting something creepy to happen here or something creepy to happen here based on that scene, or based on this scene or that scene. So certainly, it definitely it provides the scares and at least a decent story that's well acted. Um, Special effects were very excellent. The thing is, when I have a bad movie to review, I probably take a lot longer on it because it'll probably be 15 to 20 minutes long in my reviews. This one I can see I'm just hitting the 6 minute mark now, and I'm kind of running out of stuff to say, mainly because I didn't hate it. So the funny thing about it is when you have movies that are pretty good, you probably are not going to uh, have as much material on it to crap on it. So 2013's The Conjuring. Would I buy it? I don't own it on DVD. I saw it on Netflix. Yeah, I would. I would buy it. I would buy it. I would watch it multiple times probably. Um, would I recommend other people buy it? If you like horror movies, if you like a good house haunting film, this is definitely up there as a good house haunting film. It's no better or worse than the Amityville Horror. If you enjoyed the Amityville Horror, I think this feels a lot like the Amityville Horror, but set in Rhode Island in a farmhouse as opposed to Amityville. Duh. Hence the name Amityville Horror. Um, if you enjoy horror, if you could enjoy a good house haunting movie that's really creepy and hits all the right notes, you're going to enjoy The Conjuring. So there we go. Not a hell of a lot on this review to say about it, but certainly, definitely a movie I'd recommend. The Conjuring.